Hey guys, what is up? At this point, the dueling tournament is now over. I made it through the first round and then got knocked out the second round. So probably a lot of you know that. If not, you can see the VOD up on Tips Out, his channel on twitch.tv. And yeah, it was a really good dueling tournament. It lasted a long time, but I think a lot of people had fun watching it and also playing in it. So I really personally enjoyed it. I'm super glad that they put it on and that Tips Out offered for me to be a part of it, which was awesome. I have a lot to thank Tips for. He's really helped me out in terms of growing my channel and just kind of supporting me, I guess, in terms of seeing my WoW skills and I guess appreciating them, and the rest is history. Now, in these duel tournament settings, we knew going in what our first matchup was going to be. So, and this was announced like 2 days before the tournament, so we had a little bit of time to practice. So I did quite a few duels in terms of what I was hoping was going to go through. As you can see, I don't do that many duels against priests. I do 2 duels against a priest later on in the video. I managed to win one of them and then I lose the next. Priest is my hardest matchup. Second hardest is Shaman. And then the rest of the classes I actually can do a fairly decent job against. There's a lot of classes that are split about 50-50. But again, 50-50 is kind of the sweet spot of dueling. If you win and lose 50% of the time, that means it's going to come down to a good duel. Basically, like we saw with Venruki and Sidu at the end there, and then also Snuts and Venruki. Both of those duels were really exciting to watch. But anyways, this is just a compilation of all those duels that I had in the last few days, including some on the day of the tournament. I know everyone says that Mage and Druid is a super easy match, and it is if the Mage is Frost. If the Mage is Fire, they actually have a decent chance if they can get the CS lockout on me. So as you could see in the duel that I had in the tournament, I fake cast him with like one thing. If you're a Druid, guys, and you want to beat mages in duels, one thing you always want to do is War Stomp into a heal, because everyone does this, and what is going to happen is that mage is going to blink it and try and CS right away. That's like what 99% of all mages do. And if you do that, what you do is you War Stomp and then you start casting your regrowth, and as soon as you see that animation for blink come up, you cancel your cast, and you'll basically predict their CS every single time, and you can get out of it. So that's how I won the first duel, because pretty much nothing else in the duel was skill. It was just shooting him with my dots and stabbing him with my dagger. Pretty much that was the only skilled part, was the predicting the CS, which is was a decent play on my part. And then the next duel, I just had NS up, so I didn't want to mess around. I just NS'd, and that one went pretty smooth as well. Now, I do think Zarya is a really, really good mage, obviously. He's really, really good at retail WoW, and he has the arena rating and records to back it up. Now, I think he could have dueled more people. I didn't really see him on in the last few days, and as you can see, I dueled Ryaz, this mage here, for so long. We dueled just constantly over and over again. He knew that he was going up against Chance, and he kind of wanted to try and do his best against him. So I helped him with that. He helped me out, and in turn, I saw him whispering. Zaryu this morning about the right spec to be, because Zaryu was actually he was actually Frost, and I would have beaten him way easier than I beat him. So if Zaryu actually had been on and dueling, practicing and kind of getting ready for the tournament, he actually might have beat me. I don't know. So the tournament isn't so one-sided as people think. There was a lot of dueling practice that people did before the tournament actually went off, which is really, really good. It showed that people cared and wanted to perform as well as they could. As you can see here, I was experimenting with so much stuff with Ryaz. In this one, I'm wearing all my feral gear, so all my my agility and strength stuff. I think I end up winning this one, but it was just really, really close. So we practiced a ton of stuff, so I was ready for the duel against Zaryu. And then I really, really, really wanted Bruce Wayner to come out and beat Clack. Now, everyone sees that Bruce Wayner got destroyed by Clack. But what you don't know, and what I do think is kind of the bummer about these dueling tournaments is when you get knocked out so quickly, is Bruce Wayner really, really did try hard. He knew that Priest Hunter was a hard matchup for him. And so I saw him in Duertar out here dueling a Priest for probably 2 or 3 hours. Just another Priest that was willing to help him out and willing to help him get skilled. So that being said, when you see a matchup and it's a quick 2-0, you can't discredit people for not trying, because I know Bruce personally. I know he personally tried really hard against Clack, and then obviously I went up against him, and I lost. There's nothing else to be said. I lost. The first round I tried Feral, and I tried to use Crowd Pummeler. I only had 2 charges on my Crowd Pummeler, so I knew I was only really going to be able to use it for 1 duel. And when that first duel ended and I wasn't able to beat him with my Feral setup, and I had used my manual Crowd Pummeler procs or uses, then what I was thinking to myself is, okay, well, I'm not going to have the sustain in terms of damage, so I'm going to have to try and have the sustain in mana. And so that's why I wore all my mana and spirit, intellect, stamina gear the next round. His wand just hit so hard. He was like, the crazy thing is he wasn't even losing much mana. Like, he would have been fine. There could have been 3 more duels on top of that, and he still would have beat me. He did a really good job conserving his mana. He didn't even use really any spells. I was trying to bait out dispels from him, seeing if he would use mana on dispels. I was casting rank 1 rejuvenation on myself, and I put rank 1 Moonfire on him a couple times, and he just didn't even dispel. He literally just wanded. And I know a few people whispered me saying like, oh, it sucks to lose to something cheesy like wanding. And I know a few people were saying other things about wanding and stuff like that. And even Clack after the duel said like, you didn't really like, as kind of the crappy duel, like you didn't really have much of a chance or whatever. Which the thing is like, it is kind of true, but at the same time, hey, you got to do what you got to do. You got to play to win. I totally agree with that style, and playing a wand spec with all that took him far. He got to 4th, so he did a really, really good job. Obviously, if I could have beaten him, or if I could have gotten paired up with a hunter, I think I would have moved on quite a bit, because, for example, Zico, I have a 4-0 record against him. I've beaten him 4 times in duels, never lost to him. He's Frost, so he's just never going to win against me. And he knows that too, but luckily we didn't get paired together, so he was able to keep going. And man, some of his duels were insane, so props to him. But yeah, anyways, the dueling tournament was great. Some people got matched up with classes that were really hard and got knocked out right away. And other people, got to make it through a bit. But that's just kind of the way dueling tournaments work. You know, you can't always get the perfect matchups. Luckily, like I said, I got put up against my easiest class first round and then my hardest class second round. So, you get it the way you get it. You can't really predict how things are going to go. That being said, I really hope there's more of these. It was tons and tons of fun. I wouldn't mind just watching the next one. If I get invited, I'll definitely go. But I do like to see like fresh faces and like kind of mix it up from just the traditional rank 1 players or like arena masters or whatever, because to be honest, in the dueling tournaments, that doesn't really matter. There's a lot of guys that are outside of Duertar all the time dueling that are actually really, really good. And it would be nice to have them, be in the tournament and give it a shot. I know it doesn't draw as many viewers because it's fun to watch people but maybe like a healthy mix of both. That being said, I'm going to stop talking. I know I've been kind of talking for a while. You probably see how long this video is, guys. it's really, really long, and it's just duels. So I'm going to put down below timestamps for those duels, so you can go check out. I'll tell you what class I dueled, and then the time. So if you want to see like a Shaman Duel, I think there's one Shaman Duel that I have. You can go see that. Spoiler alert, I lose to him. But yeah, I left in all my wins, all my losses, so you can kind of see it. I wouldn't get too like definitely don't try and like analyze this video and pick up strats, because the level 30 meta is super weird. For example, like probably 50% of my damage is just me white hitting them with my dagger, and I'm hardly ever in cat or bear form. So you got to take these duels with a grain of salt. It's really just like kind of the level 30 meta and how you have to play with your low mana pool. You can't really shift very much. So again, take it for what it is. I hope you guys enjoy it. I do have the audio for most duels up. Every once in a while, there'll be a muted clip because I probably was tabbed out or had like a tab open with a Twitch stream up. During the tournament, I was watching some streams, and then also I might have muted myself for some other reasons. There could be times where my mic opens. I don't have my mic muted in this, so if you hear me say anything, just know that's why. So don't be alarmed if all of a sudden I just say something. But yeah, enjoy the duels, guys. There's quite a few more Mage for a while, but like I said, look in the description below, and they'll have time-stamped duels. Thanks so much for the support, guys. I got a ton of whispers after my duels, and I just really appreciate you all rooting for me and saying all the positive things that you guys had to say. I did read them all. I don't know if I responded to every single one of them, but if you did whisper me after my duels, I really appreciate it, and I saw them all. That being said, we did recently reach 3,000 subscribers, so that is pretty crazy, because I think just a few months ago we had less than 1,000. So our channel has definitely grown, and it's definitely a big part to you guys and the support you've given me. And also, like I said, a lot of the other content creators in the classic space, like Tips Out, really big supporter of mine, and I really appreciate. I don't know why, for whatever reason, he believes in me and enjoys the stuff I put out. So I really appreciate all the shout outs I've gotten from him. Anyways, enough rambling. Thank you guys again. Hope you enjoy the duels, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, I just listened to my first audio clips. Man, that could have been a lot shorter than it really was. I'm just going to chime in once in a while to commentate some of these clips. But other than that, just feel free to watch the footage, and I'll just, butt in every once in a while. But yeah, you can see steadily through these duels with Ryaz, he definitely got better and better. That is the nice thing about practicing duels a lot, is you get better and better against your matchup. Even if it's a matchup like Mage versus Druid, right? Mages are always like, oh, I just lose those, which is true. You lose most of them, but as you can see, the more and more Ryaz practiced and played against me, the better he got. He started learning kind of how I played. He started learning, the best things to do at what time, and he definitely started winning more and more off me. I still think it was probably like 70-30 in terms of me winning versus him winning. But at the beginning, I was like winning most every single matchup, and now at this point, things were starting to get a little bit closer. Well, I also think that Chance has a lot different, like he plays Druid at 30 a lot different than I do. He also has engineering, so he was able to take advantage of engineering to stop casts and get a heal off and things like that. So I don't have engineering, so I wasn't able to like help Ryaz, see how that would feel against a Druid. But yeah, bombs and grenades are definitely a big part of duels. So see there, he got 2 wins back to back. This is another mage that wanted to duel me. This is what it looks like to duel a frost mage. They just don't have any kind of burst or that big damage to finish you off or kill you. Now all these slows are extremely effective on other classes, right? But for Druid, and especially at this level, it's just there's nothing a Frost Mage can do. I've literally never lost against a Frost Mage. The only mages I've ever lost to are Fire or Arcane. I started dueling Bean. Again, this is perfect examples of someone dueling someone and starting out doing really poorly against them, and then as they practice more and more, they get better and better. Bean was losing. I think he dueled me like 5 or 6 times in a row, and he lost over and over and over again. Maybe it wasn't 5 or 6, maybe it was less than that. But anyways, then he was like asking me questions about like what's like the best way to beat you, or like, you know, what do other hunters do, etc., etc. And then like that's kind of I feel like the good way of doing a duel. You try and figure out how to beat your opponent, what's their weaknesses and what are your strengths, and then you can capitalize on them. And in this case, in the level 30 meta, so a lot of times, I mean, like people have already talked, like traps at level 30 don't last long, but you can automatically drop combat with a feigned death trap, and you can eat. So what this allows is for hunters to do really, really well. You saw in you see in these clips, obviously, like, yeah, it's not really like that close. I am but he gets better and better throughout these, so I'm just going to be quiet. And oh yeah, I was testing out green whelp armor, and it's supposed to have a 5% chance to put melee attacker to sleep when they hit you, but it's never procced. I literally dueled a rogue who white hit me for like 5 minutes and it never worked. So I reported that bug. So there's another bug that we found.
Hey, Chance, are you unmuted?
Yeah, what up?
Hey, just real quick, I need to say this. All of the people messaging me that you can / target trimmer, kill yourself. You can't. And even then, I shouldn't be expected to. Thank you.
All right, you're good. You feel better?
No.
Okay.
I need to pump something.
All right. Well, let it out. It's okay, Sarah. You know I'm here for you.
You need some good hentai, mate? I can hook you up.
Yeah, you got something, brother? Thank you.
For sure,
yeah,
mate.
Yeah, I realized I hadn't muted that part of the audio. Yeah, I mean, we were all in Discord together, all the people that were in the tournament. Definitely some people handled losing better than others. Some people, obviously, I mean, that's just kind of how people are. Some people just try and come up with excuses right after a duel or something, and some people are kind of salty or poor sports about it. Personally, the way I see duels is exactly how you've seen all these clips. You can start out against someone, and if you're bad and like bad at it, like in the matchup, say it's a hunter, like for example here, if Bean had dueled me one time and he had gotten mad and said like, yeah, druids are overpowered, you know, screw you, blah blah blah, and got all salty and ran off, then he wouldn't have improved at his gameplay, and he wouldn't be able to do better against, you know, hunters in PvP and out in world PvP. So instead, doing lots and lots of duels like this, you're able to learn, you know, what works and what doesn't work, and also you're able to find, you know, cool people. Like I've met a lot of people dueling, you know, just spending the time, you know, working on getting better at your class, and then also helping them out a lot. So you're both getting something out of it. And as long as you both are nice to each other, you know, dueling is lots of fun. So if you're gonna duel, guys, just be positive. There's literally no point in being like, you know, someone who's super negative or always has excuses. The one thing I really dislike the most is people that just, you know, constantly give excuses as to why they might have lost. It's like just take the loss and move on, and, you know, try and better yourself. That's why you duel in the first place. Like, for example, I remember watching Venruki back in the day. Venruki was probably the biggest dueler. Like, that guy has probably more duels than anyone else. I'm not even joking. He would duel all of the time, and he's talked about this multiple times in his stream. And then guess who won the duel tournament today? Against a Warlock. Like, Mage versus Warlock, that shouldn't be like a close duel. No one saw Venruki winning. You know, mages at level 30 are not really that good. Mages at level 30 are pretty subpar for the most part because they lack a lot of burst. And I mean, even some of the level 30 mages, to try and compensate for not having the burst, they went fire. But then we have Venruki over here, who is, maybe you could say he got lucky with who he got faced up against, but I mean, to be honest, he had hard matchups. He fought a rogue, which is a hard matchup for a mage. One easy matchup he did have was against a warrior. That's a pretty easy win. But in general, he had some really hard fought games, and he ended up winning against a warlock. So that goes to show you that definitely practicing dueling can come in big time later on down the road, because he is probably he probably has some of the most duels, you know, in the game, and that goes to show that he can come in back into classic and pick up his class so quickly and beat everyone. So again, as you see, Bean's definitely is getting better throughout these duels. I don't know if you saw, but I got mad at his pet Snickers. He set his pent on me, and then I hibernated the pet right as it was running for me, or running to me, and then to try and get as much uptime, I like instantly start bandaging right as the cast goes off. But his pet resists, so I get maybe one tick of first aid off, and then his pet interrupts it. But you know, that's just kind of RNG that you get sometimes. This obviously was a muted clip. I think I was tabbed out on one screen watching part of the duels, because duels were still going on here. Like, they were wrapping up. I think this might have been like, you know, Snuts versus Sea-Doo or something. Or wait, did Snuts and Sea-Doo even fight? I don't think so. It would have been Snuts versus Clack, sorry. So Bean did kind of find a strategy. He would always wing clip me, and then right when I shift, he'd wing clip me again. So it's just making me use more mana, shifting in and out of form. He has interesting strategies too with his traps, which if I'm wing clipped and he sets down a trap, I have that delay in which I see the trap being set and I can try and get distance, but my Tauren hitbox is larger, and also I'm slowed. So he was doing a really, really good job starting to kind of figure out, you know, the way he can play around. And as you can see, like, he started out from getting destroyed. Honestly, like, I'm not even kidding. I was destroying him to the point where he was like already getting really, really good. Yeah, I had told him he was like, these seem really, really hard. Like, what's going on? And I was like, well, you know, anytime I fight other hunters, you know, they screw me over with the trap and eat. And I told him that, and he instantly started winning. So if you can kind of find tricks like that, that will definitely help you win out in certain duels. His War Stomp resisted on me. So he goes for, you know, the long play where he gets as far away as he can and then starts shooting me. Problem with a Druid, though, is I can still close the gap pretty quick. And I'll just instantly shift out when I get concussive shot. So I'm able to get close to him. This was kind of a ballsy play. I didn't know he was going to use so many cooldowns in this duel, so I just NS hibernated his pet, which probably wasn't a great idea. I probably should have used it now, because like, as you see, as the duel goes on, he's starting to use like a lot of engineering and things. So I definitely could have used that NS for later on. Like right now would have been the ideal time to NS. I normally don't NS like how some people NS when it's like their last hope. I try and strategically like NS at a good time. Like this also would be a good time right outside of this. I don't know. I get super lucky with the regrowth. I probably was at like a few health right there. But Hunter and Druid at this level, it's a pretty close matchup. Which is basically who gets luckier with like resists and things like that. Like there's sometimes I resist a Hunter trap and then they get destroyed. Yeah, I was just saying he went big because he used a lot of stuff. This is my Shaman Duel. The problem with Shaman is there's really nothing you can do. Their shocks come off cooldown so quickly that even if you shift out of their slows, it doesn't really matter. Just he resisted my roots. He's getting some giant hits up. You can see what I do. What I do there is shamans are going to be able to purge your. They're going to be able to purge your NS. So what I always do is I throw up a rank 1 rejuve that he'll purge off, and then that's when I'll NS. So he's on DR, so he can't purge NS, and I'll be able to get the heal off. He does a really good job at putting grounding down right when I finish the cast. Like just in the same way that a mage or a druid counters most of the mage kit. Basically, I can get out of Novas as a druid. I can get out of Polys as a druid. Same thing goes for shamans. I can purge your hots. You know, I can close the distance very easily. If I even need to, I can go into Ghost Wolf. I have grounding totem, so I get rid of most of your possible incoming damage or CC. And the good thing is, a lot of their damage at this level comes straight up from white hits, so they can conserve mana really easily. So, didn't really have a huge chance there, but we did what we could. This is a duel against Tipsout. I have quite a few duels in here versus him. He's actually a really, really good dueler. I think I find it weird. People like always give him crap and everything. Like Tipsout is one of the nicest guys. I'm telling you, Tipsout is the nicest guy. He puts on community events. He is really active in the WoW scene. He is always willing to help you out in game if you need help with anything. Like the way he gets hate is super weird to me. Like it blows my mind. Like there's so many other people out there in the WoW community that like I actually think are pretty scummy, and are just kind of toxic and stuff. And even more so, I kind of saw that today in, you know, being in the tournament Discord with a lot of these people that are pretty big streamers. And, you know, so it's weird that someone like Tips would get any kind of hate. It's hard for me to lose against a warrior if I can get War Stomp off. And the fact that they don't have Pummel, it's like I can just cast roots in their face. Every once in a while, they'll try and pre-swap to one-handed sword and then switch over to defensive stance. But the problem is there's a GCD on that, so you can really see it coming from a mile away, and you can just make sure you're not casting. So again, these duels really, the only way a warrior will win if they get some nasty crits or if your roots don't last very long. It's super weird. Sometimes roots last hardly any time at all, and then other times they last for what seems like forever. Like this root is a prime example. He was rooted forever, you know, dots up and everything. He goes sword and board because he knows he knew I was gonna try and go for another root there. I just decide to, you know, not try and fake cast because he's doing a lot of damage. I'm just gonna try and go for the bear tank here, get some damage out that way. I know he's low here, so I can. Oh, I didn't actually. I thought I popped out and damaged him. Honestly, kind of weird play from there. I didn't need to NS. I could have just finished him off, but maybe I had some different thinking going on there. I'd like to try and start out in cat and just get a little bit of bleeds up, especially when he's gonna sit there in. Oh, see, even there I thought I faked it. It's weird. Sometimes with spell batching, it can get really, really close. You can get super close to feeling like you faked it, but then they still get it off the interrupt. So just trying to kite him a bit. I know he doesn't have intercept, and if I keep him in combat, he can't charge in battle stance. He's hoping that his thunderclap would get me, but it didn't. So I was able to get a few ticks off. And that is where that NS from the last duel that I wasted would have come in handy. Same thing here, just try and get some damage rolling on him early on. He's going to start doing a lot of damage to me, but that's okay. If I can get that early damage going on and I make sure I'm running away from him while he's either rooted or has dots up so he can't first aid, then we're pretty good. So I move back pretty quick to make sure he stays in combat. As you can see, S1 and S2 are my rank 1s of both Moonfire and Regrowth, or Rejuvenation, and that is really, really important to have. Rank 1 Moonfire is really nice for being able to kill totems at level 60. It's really nice if you're Alliance. It's really nice to keep people in combat so they can't charge you or they can't engage with, like trying, go back into stealth, even though they should have Fairy Fire on them, obviously. But it's just a good way of preventing people from like eating, drinking, and all that kind of stuff. So it's always a good one. Plus, I use both of those abilities a lot against Dispel classes, because a lot of times they will choose to Dispel off your HOTS and your dots on them. And if they're Dispelling rank 1s, it doesn't really matter, because it costs you like no mana whatsoever. So they're just ending up. Oh, my girlfriend is talking. Sorry guys, I guess she was asking me what I was doing, and I was telling her I was dueling tips.
Yeah, half my duels I'm winning, half I'm losing. No, he's like announcing for it.
Okay, interesting. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I don't even remember. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, these duels are going well, and yeah, Dispel classes, they can dispel off your dots and your HOTS. So just having rank 1s ready for that is really good. I mean, hey, if they choose not to dispel it off of you, you're still getting like a tiny little bit of health back or a tiny little bit of damage on them. So it never hurts to use rank 1s. He's obviously trying to reset here, get far enough away that he can drink. I keep him in combat here. I'm gonna try and finish with a Wrath. Nothing he could do. Duel against duel here. It's hard to tell on some people, like you never know how hard they're gonna go on you in a duel. So that's why personally I like doing a lot of duels. I like doing like if I'm gonna go out front of Ironforge or Stormwind or Orgrimmar or Undercity or something like that, and duel people, like I want to duel them multiple times, because one duel isn't like give you a good sense of anything, right? Someone could pop all their cooldowns and use engineering and go crazy on you, and then they're playing around all their cooldowns. That's why I personally don't really like Henhouse, which is a private server that a lot of people were dueling on, because every duel your cooldowns get reset. You can get free sappers, you can get all this free stuff, which no one will ever use those in a duel anyways in retail, because it's just way too costly. So yeah, I guess kind of random, but that's just me. I like to play it that way. He's using a lot of LOS here, trying to bait me out. Gets out of that route pretty fast. As I said, sometimes they last a long time and other times they don't. He's gonna get an execute here. Yeah, execute when I had NS up. It's a bummer. So another one against tips out. Like I said, I think I win against tips out here. I win like 50-50. He wins some, I win some. I choose to sit that cat form for a long time, which is not ideal. Yeah, this is where I die probably. Yep. That was a big mistake by staying in cat form that long in the opener. See, like even here, I don't know. I actually don't know what I'm trying in these duels. Like I'm not sure if I'm trying to just oh, look at my gear. I'm wearing a lot more feral gear. I think I was trying to test out whether it would be beneficial for me to front load some damage into him. But as we can see from these last two duels, it's probably best to just stick with my original game plan. And as you can see, when I'm wearing more of my feral gear, my mana is drained extremely fast. He's gonna go get a full eat here, I think. Sorry guys, my Discord, I should have muted that. Sees me, he comes out and starts. Blood Rage. Blood Fury, rather. I NS root him. Interesting. I think I NS rooted him because I came out of form and I wasn't sure if I had enough mana. Hoping to get a few ticks off before I get back in combat. Sadly, I was like right on the border, so I could have gotten more ticks off, but I needed to stay away. You're probably gonna see me here. At this level, stealth is so bad. Again, see, there's just, you get no value wearing feral gear because I get the opener on him and I do a little bit of damage, but I need the mana for, you know, the rest of the fight. Ooh, here's the priest. Here's the priest I dueled. I think they're in decent gear. I think they have the wand and they have... So you can see that one's hitting me for 56 damage. So, and the tick of Shadow Word Pain is like 40. So that's like 100 damage every 1.5 seconds. So what that equates to is me taking a lot of damage with the priest not having to you know, do that much. And the good thing is they can stay outside of the 5-second rule a lot. So you probably saw in the duel that I had against Clack in the tournament that he was sitting at like 70% mana most of the fight. I just don't have enough damage to cause him to heal himself a lot or shield and things like that. Now, if I was able to do that like I was on this guy, I would have been able to have a better chance, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. The first round, when I was in my feral gear, that was probably... If I had more manual crowd pummelers, maybe the second round I could have done a little bit better. But at the end of the day, there's a reason priests are the hardest for druids. They're definitely not easy. Just deciding to smack him a bit. I think Clack, honestly, I think Clack was... He was improved wands, so he got more wand damage, and then he was the disciplined version of Reflection. Reflection for druids allows you to have like 15% of your mana regen, continue while casting, and there's like the exact same one for priests. I don't know if it has a different name, but everything else is the same. Some mana burn off on me there. I think this is the duel he beats me in. I start to run, put a rank 1 up. He dispels that rank 1 up again. He doesn't dispel this one. He does dispel here because he thinks I regrowth on me, and he actually takes off the remaining portion of my rank 1 rejuve. So that's also why it's really good to use rank 1s. He's got the fear. Does he? Oh, spell batching. He gets it right when I heal, so we both get our spells off. Millisecond, yeah, like you said, millisecond. Super close. Maybe I beat him again here? I don't know. I don't know how he would win here. Maybe he gets a soup. No, that's a really small heal. So it gets another fear. I think he's able. Maybe it's because he's able to reset here, but. Yeah, see, and the problem is, I run back in there hard on him, but I think I probably should have just reset myself too. Because he got enough of a mana, like a big enough mana pool to be able to get a juicy chunk of health back. See, he should be wanding me right now. Wand. He just... Like when you see the duel that I had against Clack, he literally was wanding me 100% of the time. Only times he ever stopped was to shield himself, fear me, or things like that. And I know a lot of people were saying, like, why didn't you try and juke the fear? You can juke the fear really easily with cat form if you have improved cat speed. I'm full resto, so my cat is really, really slow. And since Tauren hitboxes are really, really big, it's super hard to juke a fear. When you're, you know, a slow cat and you're a big Tauren. So it wouldn't have mattered if I was in cat form or human form. I'm not really going to be juking any fears. I think this is where he kills me, right here. Oh. No, he doesn't. Do I win this one? I do win it, okay. That's what I'm saying. Priest is a hard one. I was barely beating that priest, and he had a lot worse gear than Clack did. So... Big, juicy NS crit. I'm just trying to get away at this point. He's using pretty much everything, so... Go for the first aid. He goes for the first aid. This is big right here. And I hadn't been using LOS in duels just because I knew it was going to be banned. But then Zulace on his last duel was using a lot of LOS, so I figured. I think he's just, you know, he's not using like tournament rules. He just wanted to duel, so that's why I used LOS there. So I was able to get some decent resets here and get some mana. He Kobe's me from across the map. See, there I put up NS just so I knew that he couldn't bandage, and he went for the bandage anyways for... Oh no, he didn't. He's eating right now. Bandage just wore off. He saw his chance because he saw that I was out of mana, and so he was eating, but he saw that I was about to start drinking, and I think he just thought it would be probably a good idea to try and push in at that point, but I think he probably should have gone for the eat. I think some of this footage is a little choppy because I had like a stream open or something, but I think it gets better. This is what I'm talking about, luck of the roots. I think this guy destroys me on this duel, and then earlier we had a duel in Duskwood where I destroyed him. It's just really about how long your roots last. That one was maybe 2 seconds. Resist that. 1 second root, literally 1 second root. I'm at this point I'm realizing that I need to desperately get away. There's a root, 1, 2. So about a 3 second root there. So all my roots just in this duel just really destroyed me. It's very rare that you have that many bad roots. I think I even started to tell him that I was saying like my roots were not going off. So this is a mage. Again, frost mage. This just goes to show you how easy frost mages are to duel. There's absolutely nothing they can do. I'm able to stop that first cast too from running behind her right at the end. She's trying to kite me a lot with using rank 1 frost bolts, and it's just like, it's not gonna work, you know? She pumped 2 rank 1 frost bolts into me. I think she was hoping to try and get me to have to shift form a lot more, but it's not working. There's just nothing really you can do as a frost mage against a druid. That's why I think it's hilarious how duels work, because for example, Venruki won the entire tournament, right? But then for example, Venruki would have been like the easiest match for me, and Venruki is super skilled, but it's just there's certain matchups that are just so broken at this level, and that's why I think you got to take level 30 dueling and this dueling tournament for what it was, and just like some fun, you know. You can't get too upset about you know, who won and who lost. Now here's some duels against Warlock. I wanted to duel Snuts, but anytime I tried to duel him, and I noticed this with other people, like Jellybeans also would do this too. Anytime I would try to duel them, even if they weren't dueling anyone else and they were just sitting around, they would just instantly decline. So no idea why they were doing that, but I was preparing for the fact that I might go up against Snuts if I was able to get through further into the brackets. So I wanted to practice against a Warlock a lot and kind of figure out how to play around, you know, how to play around Warlock. And as you saw in the duel that Chance had against Snuts, Chance stayed cat form and used manual crowd pummelers over and over again. And I didn't have manual crowd pummelers. I had one that had 2 charges on it. So my strategy with a Warlock is stay out of the 5 second window as long as possible to get those ticks of mana back. So my hots are 12, like my rejuve is 12 seconds. My Moonfire and my Swarm is like 12 seconds as well. So it's about 12 seconds for everything. So if I play it right, I can continually be regenning my mana between all my hotting and dotting. And as you can see, my health dips from time to time, but I'm able to kind of sustain well enough. And he gets several sacks off and pets off, but I'm able to just whittle him down. Sorry about my dog. That's not even my dog now, it's my dog in this recording of me dueling. And there it is. He's gonna try and bandage, but obviously I have dots on him, ticking. Yep, and there he goes down. I dueled like I've done with every other duel, guys. I dueled Locks in so many different ways. I dueled all their different pets. I try to figure out what works the best, and that's just really what gets you better at the game. I know people have asked me like, how do I get better at Druid or things like that, and the biggest thing you can do is just practice. Dueling is a really good way for you to get good at one part of Druid, if that makes sense. That's one of the things that makes Druid a very interesting class, is dueling is going to help you in 1v1s and world PvP, whereas if you want to get good at flag running, you just got to do it. You got to practice. I know I was in a Warsong Gulch on the beta, and someone messaged me. It was me and another Druid in the map, and they messaged me and they were like, hey man, I'm not good at flag running, like you should just pick up the flag and run it. And I'm thinking to myself, well dude, how do you get better? And so then, and he's like, well, I'm really bad at the jumps, like I don't know how to do them. And so what we did is we picked up the flag together, and I had him run with me, and then we were able to practice the jumps together, and I was able to like kind of show him some tricks and stuff. And that's the thing about WoW. If you're bad at something, the one way to get better at it is by doing it. So again, with duels, it's just a matter of practicing. If you keep playing, you keep practicing, you'll get better and better. So here, I know how weak Succubus is, and I think she was going off of the damage, because she's obviously not going off of the Seduce, because she's dotting me. So I really don't know why she chose to use Succubus. Maybe just for the damage that it does. I know it does hit for quite a bit, but most people are just going to kill it. So she goes for the summon. I think she's going to get a Voidwalker here. For sure. Better choice, obviously. Removing Curse costs me 61 mana. Putting on a Curse of Agony for a Warlock at this level costs 90 mana. So a lot of Warlocks against me will learn very quickly on to just stop cursing, like stop putting on Curse of Agony, because they know I'm just going to remove it, and it's just going to actually hurt them more in the end than it's going to hurt me. I have a bigger mana pool than a Warlock, not to mention that the decurse is actually costing me less than the curse itself. So that's just kind of why a lot of these Warlocks aren't putting up curse. So at this point, she's pretty much tapped. She knows it. She's going to do what she can, but we've got this one in the bag. In the same way that Druids have 2 health bars, one is your mana bar and one is your health bar. Because you have heals, you can always keep yourself alive. It's the same thing as a Warlock. Once their mana bar is gone, basically their health bar is gone too, because they're going to have to start tapping and relying on other ways of damaging you. So again, here she has Felguard, and I'm thinking to myself, Felguard probably has quite a bit of, and you can see I'm spamming rank 1 right now. So I put up rank 1, instantly dispelled. That's fine. Then I put up a full rank. So I'm trying to play around the dispel. You can see there goes another dispel. I think she has dispel on automatic, so it's just dispelling every single time it can. Same thing again, just trying to get, anytime I know the dispel's up, I'm using a rank 1 regrowth or rejuve on myself so that it'll get off of me. Okay, so she dies, and I'm thinking to myself, man, that was really, really close. A Fell Hunter is not my friend. And this was the first duel I had to deal with against a Fell Hunter. So I'm thinking to myself that I'm going to kill this Fell Hunter, obviously. So at that point, I open on the Fell Hunter, get bleeds up, get 1 dot up. There's my... Oh, no, there's my 2nd dot. And I start stabbing it, and she's not going to be able to keep it alive through my damage. It's just impossible. So it's dead. I don't have to deal with it anymore. And now I can start dealing with her as a threat.
Yeah.
I started talking in this clip. But anyways, so as you can see, I'm healing myself up, keeping myself alive. But now that she has no pet, it's pretty much over for her.
No, I did. I started unloading the dishes.
Oh, my girlfriend was asking me if I had done the dishes. So... I didn't do the dishes, guys, though. To tell you the truth, I did them today, so I was a day late. Whoops. She goes for the drain mana, but it's too late at this point. And so we get the win. Okay, another duel. She realized the Fell Hunter wasn't going to happen. And see, again, I come back to this over and over again, but it's so true. Like, you see that she tries something out, and it works, right? Like, I did win, but I was so close to dying. And she realizes that I've changed my game plan, and I'm going to kill her pet. So she has to change her game plan and go back to what works. So dueling really helps you figure out like the optimal way to beat other classes, and it like prepares you for things. So like if you're out in the world and oh, okay, 1 second, I think I'm talking again in this clip.
Yes, literally last duel I'm gonna do.
Oh, she was mad. She wanted me to come to bed. I'd been dueling all day, so I told her this is the last duel I'm doing. So as you can see, she changed up her tactic and back to the Voidwalker, and also we had talked. Her and I had talked, and I said a lot of Warlocks will sack right at the beginning to get that shield up, and then they're going to rely on getting a fear off on you, and then summoning another one. However, the Voidwalker's damage, auto attack damage, is decent. Like, you should try and keep it alive for as long as possible. And as you can see here, I run back up to her and I basically say like, yeah, that was a lot closer. You know, your pet auto attacking me actually helps out a lot. So that's kind of the stuff you can gain from duels, guys. Dueling people on your faction should always be a positive thing. You should never go out and BM someone who you're dueling, and hopefully they never BM you. It should be like a mutual time where you both can, you know, have fun, and you both can learn about your class and like what makes what good, and like, you know, what to use in this situation, you know, what spec to do here, blah blah blah. But anyways, that's the full video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed my commentary. I know I'm trying to listen to you guys. I know last time you said you wanted to hear audio of the duels, like actual in-game audio. So I kept the in-game audio in, even though sometimes like my mic, you know, turns on because I'm talking. And then I also tried to commentate because people said they like the commentary. So with both of those things said, hopefully you enjoyed this video. It's approaching 1 hour, so I'm going to end it here. I appreciate you guys a lot. Keep tuning into my videos because I have a lot more in the next few days and weeks. So yeah, see you later, guys.